Okay, yeah, so right here is where the model is first defined. So this right here is the input layer, and then I have the four models. Each one of these is for each one of the clusters because you're working on the k-means one. Those ones are made up here. The models are, each one of the experts are loaded in.
Up here.
So those are the experts. So we shouldn't have to touch anything for that. And then basically this right here is telling each one of those models that the inputs, which we defined up here, is going to get fed to each one of these models. And that's how, if you look at the graph, it might be hard to see, but you have your input layer. That's how we end up getting the input going to each one of the experts by doing this. So basically, we're not going to use this anymore. I'll keep it commented out because you can use it for reference, but what we'll have is something along the lines of this. If I go down here a little bit, this right here is just a neural network. So I'll grab all this, basically put this up here. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work because I haven't messed with it, but you'll be able to play with it and figure it around just by doing something similar to this. I don't know how many of these dense layers you're going to need, and I don't know how many neurons are going to have to be in it. That's kind of going to be like up to you to figure out. You just got to play with different values. Maybe you can search up. Kayla posted the notes in the general about that Jason Brownlee guy that Saya talked about. So maybe he gives a suggestion about what's good here. The softmax, so this last layer that we add to the model is always going to be the output layer. I don't think it's going to be.
So we don't change this line, right? This
Pardon?
So we don't really change this line. It's always going to be the same.
Yeah, this line I'm probably going to get rid of because I don't think. So you can see each one of these are ReLU activation, and this one's softmax. And I don't think the output of this model should be softmax. So I'm just going to get rid of that. So it's basically when you create your neural network initially, you do it with this line here. You create this sequential model, give it the name. In this case, I would just call it the gateway. And then for this one, final model. Maybe you can just do final model is equal to. You might be able to do this, and that might then give. I think that's how it'll work to get the inputs layer to pass into the final model. I think that might be how it works. I'm not sure. You might have to play around, and then, like I said, add. Figure out what's going to be the good amount of layers. What's giving the best result. It's just going to be playing around, kind of training. This doesn't. Luckily, if you use the pro account that Steve gave us, this doesn't take too long to train up. It's only running 10 epochs. You can see they're 44 and then like 22 seconds each. So it's like under 5 minutes to train. So it won't take that long to, train it up, see how it's going, and then go from there. And then basically instead of this saying inputs, what this is going to have to be is this has to be like each one of these has to reference like the output of this neural network. And there's a bunch of different ways to create neural networks. So this is like one of them, doing the final model dot add. So you're doing like your model dot add and adding your layer. And then there's other ways where people create them all like this. If you search up and you look at like KRS's documentation and stuff, you'll see the different ways and which way it might be the best one to do here. And then the rest of this should stay the same. You shouldn't have to touch any of this down here. So, once you get these replaced with whatever needs to go here in the inputs, once you replace that, then the rest of this should all be fine. And so if you look at when you print out the graph afterwards, what you should see is the input layer and then an arrow that goes down into like a neural network, and the neural network will look like this. It's not. Oh, it's because this stupid graph is too big. The neural network will basically it'll basically look like this. It'll have a layer going down, going down, going down. It's very linear. So you'll see your input layer, then you should see your neural network, and then this last layer here will then split off into each one of the experts.
Experts. Okay.
Yep. And then when you're ready to train, what you're going to have to do is you'll have to grab the data, and you'll want to put it. Actually, no, all the data. If you're using a pro account, all the data is already there, so you don't have to worry about that. You just got to mount the Google Drive. You know, it'll give you the URL. You click on that, you copy the thing, paste it in. I'm not sure if you've done that at all for this.
So, do I do it in this one directly, or do you want me to make a copy of it and then do it there?
Yeah, you can make a copy of it just in case. That way you can play around with it. You don't have to worry about messing anything up. So you'll definitely want to mount the Google Drive. This one, you don't have to worry about running the